Inquisitor. If you attempt to transmogrify a virtue gem without the proper mental preparation, you will be a puppet master working strings made of vipers. Remember, these gems are phantasms in crystalline form, alive, with volitions inscrutable. Master conscious dreaming, as I instructed you. Your death would mean little to me, Malagaro. It's what your demise could unleash that concerns me. Malachi, I bequeath this transmutia device to you, Inquisitor Malagaro, in recognition of your devotion to our sublime art. May it be the chariot that conveys your dreams into reality. Malachi, Thaumaturge Laureate to the Empire.
Marco, my beautiful captain, I truly wish I could trust another with these most vital of tasks. Firstly, the flow of exiles must be stemmed. We have material enough and will soon find ourselves drowning in human refuse. Ensure that the barricade remains. If any exile should somehow pass through, kill them. Secondly, procure Doedre Darktongue's cauldron when the opportunity arises. Alira is in constant conflict with her outlaw neighbours. One day soon she'll get her throat cut. Be there when it happens. Until we share our next night together. Piety. Though there are exiles aplenty here in Sane, should my attendants fail to secure one for our amplifier test, I suppose Lieutenant Keris will do. Her incompetence often outweighs her usefulness. Let us see if she has the wits to find the activation agent. Wonders will never cease. The chair seems to be operational, even after almost 3 centuries of disuse. Malachi's workmanship seldom disappoints in that regard. If records are accurate, this device should swiftly channel a subject's vitality into the installed virtue gem. If that proves to be the case, then we shall convey the amplifier to the Lunaris Temple for further testing. There's every indication that the Inquisitor succeeded in transmuting the gems, twisting them to his will. I've wasted endless days and dozens of prime subjects trying to achieve as much. I am bored to delirium with trial and be damned error. If only we can locate Malachi's transmutia device, if it still resides somewhere in these chambers after all this time. To possess such a specimen would save me months of labour. Dearest Cole, know that you are loved. Forget Dominus's slights. He doesn't understand you like I do. You are the first man of our new future. Beyond the mundanity of their judgments, you are the Gemling Lord. Your Piety. Captain Devaro, we must gain entrance to the Highgate mines. It is a matter of vital importance to my research and to the success of our entire operation. Breach the Marraketh encampment, enslave the inhabitants, and secure Highgate. Do not let a few little girls with spears deter you from your course. As you should well know, my disappointment can change a man. Piety. Arteri, my beautiful captain. I wish it were not you, but I cannot bring myself to trust any other with this most vital of tasks. This is the only pass between the inner and outer empire. No further exiles are to enter the inner empire. We have material enough for our work. Ensure that the barricade remains in place, and if any exile should somehow pass through, kill them. I will send for you when my work is complete in Sane. Until we share our next night together. Piety.
You can take a wolf from the forest. You can collar him, chain him. You can starve him, beat him until he whimpers and bows down. Yet, is that wolf a dog? Never. A man is only a slave when he allows his heart and mind to be conquered. When he comes to believe that his life is no longer his own. When he chooses to cast his eyes forever to the ground. Like a king that chooses to press his lips to the feet of an emperor. A king that looks to his goblet and his plate feasting and fattening while his people starve in their own streets. Some might say that I should bear the guilt of regicide, that I killed the king of the Ezamites. Yes, I served King Scoth his last meal, for I saw no king at that table. I saw a dog. I once believed that a boy's eyes were born pure, clear of cruelty and malice, that it is life that teaches one to hate, to strike out at others through anger and fear. Yet when I looked into the eyes of Gaius Centauri, I found no anger. I found no hatred. I read no tales of injustice inflicted upon youthful innocence, saw no walls built by suffering and sorrow. Instead, I was regarded as a merchant might regard beasts of burden at a market. By Governor Centauri, my countrymen and I were counted, weighed, and allocated. This man to the mines, this woman to the mills, this child to the streets of Sane to be worked and flogged until the day his blood would drain into the sewers of that wretched city. And those that resisted, those that asked to be treated as anything other than animals, were skinned and butchered, with an even dozen of their kin. Fear not the man who lusts. Fear not the man who hates. Fear the man who feels nothing at all. The colours and banners of 100 clans, scattered like the wild flowers of spring across the meadows of Glargarin. Thousands of men and women, starving, poor, armed with rusted hatchets and hunting bows, looking across that field with the courage of desperation at the Imperial Legion arrayed against them. Soldiers gleaming in bronze and steel, trained and hardened men, their polished shields forming a wall of discipline and determination against the advances of my motley rabble. "I sing! I rant! I rave!" I said to them. "But today, clansmen, my sword is my voice." We crashed against that legion like waves upon a cliff. Time and time again they repelled us. The green meadows became brown and red with the mud of toil and the blood of war. Yet what is a slave to do? Suffer the lingering death of mine and mill, or offer the gift of your life to your people in one bright and glorious moment? For the men and women who followed me into battle, the choice was a simple one. 3 Ezamites fell for every eternal, and still the courage of my people tore down that polished wall, severed the strong arm of the Empire with a rusted woodman's hatchet. Gaius Centauri ran for his wretched life. I called to the great wolf to aid me, to give me the scent of that fleeing fox. Though the hunt was swift, I took the time to ensure that Gaius felt some small measure of the suffering he had inflicted before I answered his plea for mercy. I stood with the army of purity and looked upon the mighty walls of Sane. I fought against Chittis and his gemling aberrations. I watched the strongest of our army, Ezamite, Maraketh, Karui, and Templar, struck down by creatures born of thaumaturgy. It will take more than strong men and women to defeat Chittis, for this is no longer a war of mud and blood. We face monsters, and to defeat them we need some monsters of our own. Here I stand amongst these stones. Here I lay my gifts of blood and song of flesh and fire. Here I call out to the first ones, beasts of legend, terrors of our dreams. Here I howl to the great wolf himself. Should he answer, I am ready to pay the price that I know he will ask. It is no more than a man should do for his family. It is no more that a king should do for his people. The great wolf has come for me. His heart beats within my chest. His tongue lolls within my mouth. His fangs crown my jaw. His eyes rest within my sockets. I do not see as a might an eternal king and commoner, master and slave. I see only prey. In the world of street and field, the emperor has fallen. Those who were slaves are now free. In the world of forest and mountain, the first ones hunt and feed as they have done since the first dawn. No longer will I walk among my people. I will not have their blood on my lips. I will not be their king. I am the king of wolves now. The great wolf has forced me to forget who I was, and has taught me to be so much more. A man becomes a king so that he may protect the people of the day. A man becomes a god so that he may protect the people of all the days to come. And so, the endless hunt begins. The fervor of the first ones remains, bound by the druids into fetishes of tooth and bone, skin and claw. I know where these potent talismans have been strewn. I have their scent. And so, the endless hunt begins. I shall pursue the thieves of our ancient heritage. I shall wrest our first ones from the clutching and the corrupted, lest they feed and grow fecund on power not their own. Power I must have, must wield, in the name of all that is Ezemir to come. And so, the endless hunt begins.
I haven't slept. No one has slept. Not for 3 days, not since the black storm in the northern ranges. Not since the nightmares began. Violent and twisted night terrors. They whisper to us, tempt us, threaten us, beguile us. They promise terrible things in return for even more terrible acts. My husband, Daenerys, went to Alliston to find a doctor who might help. He should have been back yesterday. I fear for him. I fear for all of us. It has been a little over a week since the Black Storm. My husband has not returned, and sickness now sweeps through our village. Many have died, and those who have lived have changed. These were folk we once called neighbour and friend. Now they limp and stagger through the night, their deformities as grotesque as the madness in their eyes. The moon was full the night of the Black Storm. It is full again. They have come for me. They have come for my daughters. Bravalo called out while the others skulked and muttered in the darkness. Corran went to them, arms open, welcoming. The nightmares told her to. My uncle tried to stop her. Bravalo crushed his skull with his smith's hammer. I barred the doors and windows, but they screamed like monkeys and beat themselves bloody trying to get in. I had no choice. I took my 2 youngest and fled through the cellar, following the tunnel to the mill. All we can do is hide and hope. God help us. 3 Lunari gone now since it all began. Perhaps I am the only one who still looks upon Lunaris, who remembers her name. Soon I will be gone, and the moon will go on alone. My husband has returned, and he hunts for me. My dead husband hunts me. Corran, too, and my uncle. Corpses rise and walk and feed. My girls, they walk now and feed. God has forsaken us. Lunaris is my witness. Tonight, I return to my family.
On this day, the second Sacrato of Verusi, 1334 IC, the army of purity remembers its most devout and beloved servant, Archbishop Joffrey of Frisia. As spoken by Joffrey, only will and truth can prevail over the evil of our own kin. High Templar Vole, commander of the army of purity. We, the court of reckoning, find you, Doedri Stamatis, guilty of the following transgressions against God: perversion of God's creation, promotion of heretical beliefs, unlawful enslavement of eternal citizens, torture of the innocent, murder of the servants of purity. For these most severe crimes, I do sentence Doedri Darktongue to burn at the stake till naught is left but ash. May her life serve as penance for the lives she has taken, and let purity sweep away the dust of her deeds from our firmament. High Templar Vole, commander of the army of purity.